you guys start dating the first time, like when you were 15?
Okay, so I just got my braces off after the 10th grade. It was the summer before the 10th grade,
So your swag meter was off the charts once the braces came
Oh,
off?
God, once the braces came off, I was looking good, you know? So I went and got my hair highlighted. So one day, and I got my hardship driver's license.
Which means what?
Which means that you're allowed to drive before you're 16 by yourself.
Because of a great distance or work or something?
Because of cheerleading practice.
Okay.
So I was at the car wash washing off my 1989 Nissan 240SX.
Bless you. What is that? Like a little sedan?
It's like a little sports car.
Okay.
But the sports car my mom purchased when I was 2 years old and saved for me graciously until I turned 16.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What color?
Red.
I knew you were going to say red.
So I'm at the car wash washing my Nissan 240SX, and the boys just got out of football practice, and I knew who he was. Like, we had keyboarding class together when I was in the 8th grade, so I remembered him from my keyboarding class, obviously. And I knew he was, like, hot shot. Like, he was real popular, and his family was real popular in town. Like, of course I knew who he was. So anyways, I'm leaving the car wash. Like, I think I was walking to go to the tanning salon, and he starts to drive by. He just got out of football practice, and he has one of his friends with him. And he pulls in, and I'm like, oh, okay. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, washing my car. And he was like, how was your summer? Because, like, we're about to go back to school. And I'm like, oh, it was good. Just, like, chit-chat. Well, that was, like, the first time he'd ever talked to me. So then he was like, all right, we were just saying hi. I'm like, okay, see you guys. And then they drove off, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm freaking out. Like, I feel like such an adult. And, like, some boys just pulled over and talked to me. Like, I feel really awesome and really cool and popular. So, anyways, then we started back to school, and we kind of just would, like, flirt a little in the hallway or, like, see each other between classes and say hi. Like, it was real cash at first. And then one day, out of the blue, it's a Saturday morning, just like any other Saturday at my parents' house, the phone rings. Caller ID says Stuart Godwin. That's his dad's name. And I'm like, whoa. First of all.
Did you give him your number?
No.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh my gosh. Whoa. Whoa. What's going on? I answer the phone. Hello? Hey, it's Ryan. Hi. And I'm like, oh my God. He's a grade older than me. Like, he's so cool. He's so popular. How did he get my number? Hey, so, Clay and Lacey, that was one of my friends, are going to go to the fair tonight, and I was wondering if you wanted to go with me. And I was like, oh, to the fair? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm starting to think to myself, I've never been on a date before. Like, this would be my very first date. I don't know if my mom's going to let me go because I've never asked if I could go on a date before. So I'm like, I got to come up with an excuse for why I can't, because I know my mom's not going to let me.
Oh, you knew
I knew she was going to say no. So I was like, I'm actually babysitting my little brother tonight. My parents are going somewhere. My parents have to go to some dinner. So I have to babysit my little brother, otherwise I would. And he was like, oh, okay, it's cool. It's no big deal. And I was like, all right, sorry. And he's like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. And I'm like, okay, bye. So then I get off the phone. My mom was at shopping, so I called her on her cell phone, and I was like, Mom, this is an emergency. Ryan Godwin just called me and wanted to know if I could go to the fair tonight. And I know you want to say no, but please don't say no. I'm old now. I'm 15. I can almost drive. Or, no, I was 16. No, I was only 15. I'm 15 years old, Mom. I'm an adult. Like, you have to let me go.
Adult
like,
at 15.
I'm in the 10th grade now. This is a big deal. Like, please, you have to let me, Mom, please. I'll have to speak to your father. Okay, whatever. So then she called my dad.
Lowell. What did Lowell say?
She called Lowell. And he was like, well, what do you know about this boy? And my mom's like, well, he's got a good family, you know, he plays football, he's like a good kid. And my dad's like, all right. So Mom called me back at home, and she was like, you can go, but you have to be home at 11:30. So I'm like, oh my God.
So what'd you do?
So then I called him back. And
Desperado.
Desperado. So embarrassing. Oh my God, he didn't answer the phone. I had to call him like 3 times. And then he said he was napping. Whatever. So when I finally got a hold of him, I was like, hey.
Did he have caller ID?
Probably. So when he answered, I'm like, hey, I actually just talked to my mom, and they're not going anywhere tonight. They decided not to go, so I don't have to babysit my brother. So if you still want to go to the fair, we can go. And he was like, oh, yeah, absolutely, sure. And I was like, all right. And he was like, so I'll pick you up around 6?
6.
I was like, okay. And he was like, where do you live? So I tried to give him directions to where I lived, and he was like, okay, sounds good, I'll see you then. Then I spent the whole, I probably took 3 hours to get ready. I mean, I had to have everything perfect. I needed my makeup to look perfect, my hair to look perfect, I needed the perfect outfit, I was freaking out. Then he got lost on the way to my house. He couldn't find it. There were no he didn't have a cell phone back then, so he was just kind of aimlessly driving around. Finally found our house, and my mom had told me to play it cool and not sit by him in the truck. Not to sit in the middle seat.
Yeah, why would you sit in the middle seat anyways?
Because that's like when you have a boyfriend, you sit beside him in the middle.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a southern thing?
In the truck, yeah.
What?
Yeah. The girl's supposed to sit in the middle.
Even though there's a much bigger passenger seat.
Exactly.
What?
So my mom was like,
Wait.
It's a bench seat.
Yeah, I know the seat, but who in their right mind would ever sit in a small...
once we were official, I always sit on
a
that seat.
smaller seat as opposed to a big, comfortable seat.
I still will sit on that seat if we go somewhere in the truck. I will.
That's crazy. Must be a southern thing.
That's where you sit so you can cuddle.
What?
Yeah.
So you got a Ford F-150. It's super wide. You've got an extra wide passenger seat and a tiny middle seat.
You sit on the middle seat. Absolutely.
Okay, proceed. Sorry.
So my mom's like, Brittany, you got to play this thing cool. You don't want to look desperate, so you need to don't sit in the middle. And I was like, okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. So when we go to get in the truck, he opens the side door for me. And I got in and sat right there, and I could tell that he was like, oh, you're not going to sit by me? So then when he got in, he had the console up so I could sit there, and he goes, oh, and rested his arm on it. And I was like, crap, Mom. He was totally expecting me to sit by him.
No, that's a great move, not to sit in the middle.
I'm like, now great. Now he thinks I don't like him. Anyways, we ended up foregoing the fair, and instead we went to watch the movie Swim Fan.
You skipped the fair?
We skipped the fair.
What's all that about?
Because we ended up meeting up with another couple, Lacey and Cody.
Yeah.
So now it was Clay, Lacey, Cody, and me and Ryan. So it was like a triple date. And for some reason, instead of going to the fair, we decided to go see Swim Fan. So we went to see Swim Fan, and then we went to Applebee's and had dessert after the movie.
Wait, during the movie, did he hold your hand or anything?
No, it was 6 of us, and Lacey sat by each other, and I was on the very outside next to him, and I just played it totally cool.
You weren't even watching the movie,
He was
were
like,
you?
what do you want from the concession stand? I was like, a Coke with no ice. He was like, a Coke with no ice? I was like, I don't like ice. He was like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. That was the first time he ever learned that I don't drink ice in my Coke.
Were you totally not watching the movie, more just thinking about what he's doing, or did you actually watch the movie?
Yeah, no, I was really nervous. In fact, he might have held my hand. I don't for sure remember that he didn't, but it was it's so much nervous energy. And I just wanted the movie to be over so that we could get back into conversation.
Yeah.
So then we went to Applebee's afterwards and we split a blondie.
What's a blondie?
It's like a white brownie. It's like a maple skillet brownie with a scoop of ice cream and some sauce on top.
Different forks?
Different forks.
Same plate?
Same plate.
Okay.
So we split the blondie, and then when the Applebee's thing was over and we all knew we were going our separate ways in twos again, when we were going on our way back out in the parking lot, he kind of ran up behind me and put his arms around me and picked me up off the ground, just being playful. And I squealed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so in love. And then I got back in the truck and sat back on my side still. I still didn't sit in the middle.
Nice. Holding your ground.
Holding my ground. And then he drove me home, had me home at the appropriate curfew time.
Wait. From the drive from Applebee's to your house, is it a direct shot to make it in time for curfew, or is it leisurely?
It was leisurely because we sat out. I knew I didn't have to be in the house till 11:30, so we sat out in the truck for a little while once we got to my house. Just talking.
In the driveway?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we got into some playful banter over $12 because I really wanted to pay for my portion, and he was like, absolutely not, I've been working hard at the grocery store this summer, and I'm not letting you pay for anything. And I'm like, just take the $12. And he's like, I don't want your $12.
You
You're
want
crazy.
something else instead of $12?
And I'm like, come on, take it. So we're having some playful banter, and so we were getting into the banter kind of on the console.
Wait, can I pause you? Okay, I was going to ask, is the console still down?
The console's still down, but we're both kind of leaning across it, getting playful with our $12 banter.
Are you touching hands or?
Yeah,
okay.
kind of playfully playing with the dollar bills. Oh, please take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. Okay, so we're being playful, and then that's it. That's when it went in. Boom. 3 small pecks. Boom, boom, boom. First kiss over.
That was your first
date.
kiss?
That was our first kiss, yeah. Over $12 in his console.
And a blondie.
After a blondie breath. 1, 2, 3, no tongue. 1, 2, 3, nice.
Like
long.
super quick or like
No, not super quick. Slow,
Like kiss?
soft.
then change positions of the head, another kiss?
Yeah. So 3 little ones, but no tongue. I kept my $12. I went inside. He went to the gas station and told everybody that we kissed. And then, but at that time, he still hadn't officially asked me if I would go out with him. Because that means like going steady.
Yeah.
And so,
That's for Joe's era, going steady and going out.
yeah.
Steady.
So I was like, he still wasn't my boyfriend when we went back to school on Monday. So it was like a little weird. But then he asked me if I would go to FCA with him on Wednesday night.
Fellow
and I was-
Christian athletes.
Yeah. And I was, Fellowship of Christian
Yeah.
Athletes. Everybody went to FCA in my
We did
school.
too.
So I was like, yeah.
Public school, huh? And they had that at a public school?
Uh-huh. So I was like, yeah, I'll totally go to FCA with you. And he was like, well, do you want to go to church with me before? And I was like, yeah, definitely.
That was nice.
So then he asked me to church on Wednesday night. So he came and picked me up on Wednesday night. We went to church together. And he wrote me a note on one of the offering, the offering things. He wrote on there, will you go out with me in the middle of the sermon? And I wrote back, yes.
Check, yes.
And then passed it back to him. And then that's when we were official. So by the time we went to FCA that night, we were going out.
Yes.
And you dated all the rest of high school?
Yep. And into college. And I
good-
thought I was so cool. Because I had a boyfriend who was older. Who was
Did he come back
super
for your
hot.
prom?
Yeah. He came back from college and did my senior prom. So we were each other's prom dates all 3 years. And then I never was in homecoming my entire junior high life. And then I was in homecoming every year after I started dating him. Go figure. We went to all the high school dances together. I mean, like, after that we did everything together.